Alright guys, thank you for going ahead and watching the video to help you complete your review and prepare for your test tomorrow. The circle problems are going to be test-like, okay? So the ones that are going to be very similar to the test. Not the exact same problem, but the same concept, kind of same steps. I'm just going to change the numbers to them. So I'm going to do this playlist for a section at a time so we can address all the types of problems. So on the first section, that's solving proportions, 1, 2, and 3 are test-like. I'm going to only focus on the odds and let you finish the evens. Remember, completing your review is bonus towards your test. All right, so on number 1, we're going to cross multiply. If you want to draw your butterfly, you can. But basically, R, show parentheses to show cross products. So R times 5 is equal to 2 times 7 minus R. Now, you might have wrote 7 minus R parentheses into, but I always put the number in front of the parentheses. Now, we should already know that R times 5 is really 5R. So if you did that instead of what I did, you're fine. But don't forget to distribute. This is a key part. This is why we want to see those parentheses. Because if we see the cross products, we can give you partial credit. And then if we see you're distributing, because this would be 14 minus 2R, that can be partial credit there as well. All right, so now we're just solving for R. Since this says minus, I gotta do the opposite to get the R by itself. So that would be plus 2R. It cancels out on the right. The left becomes 7R equals 14. And then I'm just gonna move my work up here. So if I did 7R equals 14, I want to solve for R, correct? You just divide by 7 on both sides. R equals 2, we're gonna box that answer. All right, so that takes care of 1. Let's look at 2. I'm gonna just make sure you got the correct cross products. And when you cross multiply, you're doing A times 9. Yeah, just go ahead and write 9A if you understand that. But make sure you don't forget you're doing 3 times 40 plus A. So that's 3 parentheses 40 plus A. All right, distribute, solve for A. It is a whole number answer. All right, number 3. We are going to do cross products again. So I'm going to do 18 times x minus 5. So 18 parentheses x minus 5 equals 15 times x minus 4. So 15 times parentheses x minus 4. Okay. All right, and we're going to distribute both sides. So we're going to do 18 times x is 18x minus 18 times 5, which would be 90, equals, and then we're going to distribute here. 15 times x is 15x. 15 times 4, and we have a minus sign there, so that's really negative 4, equals 60. All right, now we're solving for x. Variables on both sides. Start with your smallest variable, with that is my 15. That 15x is positive, so I want to do the opposite. Minus 15x. Cancels out on the right. We're just going to simplify left to right. Well, 18x minus 15x would leave me with 3x minus 90 equals negative 60. Don't forget the sign. Okay, the operation between the terms is your sign. So now we're just going to simplify this. I'm going to come up here. 3x minus 90 equals negative 60. All right, to get this x term by itself, since there's a minus, I now have to do the opposite and do plus 90 on both sides. So we have 3x equals 30, and then by exactly divide by 3 on both sides, x equals 10. All right, so you are going to be responsible for number 4. When we get to number 5 through 8, these are not test-like, but they are bonus-like. You'll have a bonus on your test. Okay, and it requires some prerequisite skills or prior knowledge skills with algebra 1. So you're still going to show your cross products. So for example, I'm still going to do my x plus 1 times x. So use your parentheses, x times x plus 1. And then our other cross products, and this is where that algebra skill comes into play. So x plus 6, and some of you may have remembered your full method first, okay, inner, outer, last, or box method, but you can just do what you always do, which is distribute. It's the same thing. So this would be x squared plus x. But if you're distributing a binomial, that means two terms. That's a binomial times a binomial. You do the first times the first, so that's x squared. First times the last, which is minus 2x. Then you do the next term, which is 6 times the x, that's our inner, so plus 6x. And then our last right here, so we got minus 12. All right, now, what you're going to have to do now is we're going to have to simplify our expression. Because we have a negative 2x and a positive 6x, this is really x squared plus 4x minus 12. And then what we have on our left side, x squared minus plus x, that stays the same. Now, we're just solving. Get the variables on one side, numbers on the other. Even though we have a quadratic, meaning right there, this exponent 2 shows me it's a quadratic. But I'm going to just say minus x squared minus x squared, and look what happens. They cancel out. So we don't have a quadratic anymore. What we are left with is x equals 4x minus 12. Basic linear equation, because we're going to get the variable on one side. Since the x is already on the left side, I'm going to minus 4x on both sides. Get a negative 3x equals negative 12. Then divide by negative 3. So x equals positive 4. Okay? So now let's look at number 6. If you want to just kind of review some of your algebra skills. When you cross multiply here, we have 9x equals x minus 2 times x plus 4. Okay? So we're going to distribute 9x equals x squared. Okay, the outer, that's going to be plus 4x. Inner, minus 2x. The last, minus 8. And then we're going to simplify. So this x squared actually becomes x squared plus 2x, because we're going to simplify our like terms right here, minus 8. And then because we're left with the quadratic again, we have to get it equal to 0 to solve a quadratic. So we're going to subtract the 9x from both sides. Now, and if you look over here, move to the right over here. Now the equation is equal to 0, because this side would end up being 0 over there. And I have x squared minus 7x minus 8. Now, I don't know if you remember, but one way to solve a quadratic is factoring. Okay? And when we're factoring, we're trying to look at factors of 8 with the sum of a negative 7. Because our factor, sorry, and I said 8 when it should be negative. Because we have a negative sign, that means one is negative, one is positive. Okay? Factors of 8, that's either 4 and 2, 1 and 8. Which one would give me 7? We want a negative 7. Well, that would have to be 1 and 8. If I make the 8 negative, so that means our biggest number has to be negative. So this would be x minus 8, x plus 1. Because if I multiply negative 8 plus 1, I get negative 8. But if I do a negative 8 plus a positive 1, I get negative 7. So my solution, because each one of these is equal to 0, is really x equals 8 and x equals negative 1. Okay? So that's if you have a quadratic. So why don't you try 7 and 8. These are bonus. It's up to you. 7 is like 5. 8 is like 6. All right, so that takes care of that section. Now we're going to go into section 2.